What's up, guys, and welcome to Lifting Love. My name is Lenny Love, and today we are doing our WrestleMania 41 hot takes. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and follow along as we not only post wrestling content, but we post a lot of other content, usually a daily upload, if not video, 10 to 15 shorts a day. We're working on bringing a lot more content to the channel, both long and short form video. Also have the podcast, the Lifting Love podcast, that drops every week here on Lifting Love Reacts. But without further ado, let's get straight to the video. Most channels, they do fan hot takes, and I honestly would love to hear from y'all. So if you have some hot takes, not only for WrestleMania but for WWE in general, I would love to hear them in the comments below. Please let your voice be heard. Let's make it positive. Let's have fun with it. I really want to hear your opinions on wrestling and your opinions on WrestleMania 41. But today we're gonna do it a little different. These are my hot takes, and I don't know if you can see, but I got I was writing a lot as far as what I wanted to do and my hot takes. So we're gonna start off really hot. Punk, Roman, and Seth should not main event WrestleMania 41. As awesome as these characters have been, and honestly, even as great as the storyline has been, up until this point, it's been the custody of Paul Heyman battle. It honestly should just be Roman and Punk. Like, if you're gonna dangle this fruit over our head of Paul Heyman, and I get it, and I absolutely love Paul Heyman. I think Paul Heyman is one of the GOATs of wrestling that does not get the recognition that he deserves. Obviously, his reputation precedes him, so people feel a certain way about Paul Heyman. But Paul Heyman has done arguably more for the business than 95% of the performers and characters and gimmicks have in all of WWE history. That might by itself might be a hot take. And I think his story is great. He's not afraid to be himself. He loves what he does. He's very passionate. So definitely think there's a lot of life lessons that you could take from Paul Heyman. But going back to this match specifically, this match should not have main evented. I think the only reason it does is because there was something creatively where they were like, holy crap, like this could be a crazy WrestleMania moment. Paul Heyman turning on Roman or Punk. Paul Heyman walking out with Seth Rollins at the end of it. Paul Heyman just not walking out with anybody, not sabotaging anybody, just leaving the ring. Brock Lesnar coming back. Like, these moments that if they happen, the crowd would go absolutely nuts. And maybe that is, maybe they did a one-off with Brock. I mean, I doubt that because Brock was Vince's guy. Brock was a Vince guy. So I really doubt, that they're going to bring him back. But if a moment like that happens, that's the only place that I can actually justify, in my opinion, that this could main event. Other than that, I mean, there's one other. We'll talk about it later. I think with Jey Uso and Gunther, and a lot of people have an opinion about it. Excuse me. And a lot of people have an opinion about Jey and Gunther. And we're going to talk about it here in a second because I have a hot take on that. The women's triple threat could have easily have main evented the Smack. And I know as I'm recording this, that it is Thursday, so SmackDown has not happened yet. So if there is, either by the time this episode comes out or after, don't hold that against me, there should have been a 6-way gauntlet match, just how they did in, I believe it was WrestleMania 33 with the Hardys returning. I believe it was 33. Just like they did that type of thing could main event, especially with the amazing tag teams that are on SmackDown. But it might be a hot take, might not be. I don't think that Punk, Roman, and Seth should main event unless something absolutely crazy is going to happen. Speaking of Roman, and I think this one's like way down in my notes. The Bloodline Hunter in Drew McIntyre, that might have been one of the greatest characters of all time. I think they realized how much he was a draw, and I think they honestly probably might hold it until they completely get rid of the Bloodline or something like that. But Drew McIntyre as the Bloodline Hunter was a phenomenal storyline that could have went so many different places. They did not build it up to the hype, and they kind of just let Drew kind of ride off into the sunset and do what he's doing now. I think that match could have been incredible. Obviously, there's multiple storylines going on with Kevin. I mean, with Sammy, and Jimmy and Jay, and obviously Jay became this mega star. So there's only so many people he could run through. But I get it. But I was definitely excited to see the Bloodline Hunter in Drew McIntyre because I was ready for it. Next hot take kind of goes. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Gunther is so overrated. And he's pushed so hard. I think even on LFG there was a clip of Undertaker being like, Gunther's my guy. Like for me, Undertaker, John Cena, Shawn Michaels. Those are my three. Honestly, Triple H could be brought in there too as my four. But realistically, like for me, Shawn Michaels was my guy. I mean, there's not a better wrestler in my opinion than Shawn Michaels, which could also be a hot take. But anyway, Gunther's overrated. And I think Jey Uso needs to win. Imagine 50, 60,000 people night one of WrestleMania yeeting. It's just me, Uso. Day one, it's just me, Uso. That shit would go crazy. I'm just saying. I don't really know much, but sorry, I'm reading my notes because I really go into it. I will say, and as someone who has been a big critic of Gunther, he has improved, since the first times I've seen him. But still, most of the time, it's chop, 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 beat him up. Oh, might lose, finish. And that's really been Gunther's matches the past 2 years. I really do think it could be a good time, for him to take some time off, get some rest up, maybe, finish putting his body to where he wants to be. Obviously, you could tell he's improved his body massively. Me and him were the same size at one point, just like a big guy. And, I think you could tell over the months and the years, he's definitely been trying to get in better shape. So giving him the opportunity while not being active and a fighting champion, I think that could do a lot for not only his career, but his health. I think there's some positives that can go into that. And I think giving Jay the opportunity to prove whether or not he could be a good champion, to prove whether or not he can be the guy is also a plus. I think it's a win-win situation if they drop it. And, like I said, give Gunther the time off, let Jay be champion. And if he fails and it's not good, it's not what you thought, you could always drop it back to Gunther. As my computer screen went out. But I think it does more for Jay to win at WrestleMania than it does for Gunther. Bro, this one, Charlotte Flair, bro. The next hot take, Charlotte Flair needs to retire. I know. There's a whole community out there that's going to kill me for what I'm about to say, but golly, I am so over Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair could retire tomorrow, and as great as an athlete as she is, as great of a career she's had, I would literally genuinely not miss her. With the talent that is in the WWE today, for her to come back and get a main shot, a shot at the main event, or at the title, rather, not the main event, so many other people could have won. Honestly, I thought they were going to give it to Roxanne Perez and put a rocket strap on her because her performance lately has been unbelievable. And now, I believe she's just back in NXT, which is super unfortunate. just an incredible talent that just got wasted because Charlotte Flair comes back and gets whatever Charlotte wants. You know, they're at her beck and call, and I get it. Like, I get it to a point. You know, she's a Flair. Oh, I literally, the cycle of Charlotte Flair coming in and getting whatever she wants is just completely obnoxious. This has happened before. She did great for a little bit, and then she got injured. You know, obviously, I don't ever wish injuries on anybody. You know, they're all amazing talent. That's the thing too. It's like WWE is in this time period where there's so much talent on the roster. Like this is an amazing problem to have. They didn't have this years ago. So to have a problem where you have so many amazing and talented people that could and should be on the main card at WrestleMania is unbelievable. But I don't think Charlotte needs to be one of those people. Maybe she has a match. Maybe she's going for a mid-title and she come back and win the Intercontinental Championship. Like, there's so many other things she could have done, and there's so many other matches that could have happened, like Roxanne and Tiffy, or Bayley and Tiffany, or I know Jade's in a different storyline, but Jade Cargill and Tiffany. Like, I'm really glad that the whole Nia Jax thing is over, because that was kind of, you know, a waste of some time. But I think there's a lot of other people who deserved a chance. And, you know, I get, you know, Tiffany, you know, Tiffany's an amazing performer. Her mic skills really aren't the best, even though she cooked Charlotte, what was that, 3 weeks ago now, on Friday Night SmackDown. I'm going to leave you just like you were outside the ring, alone. What does that make you now? 0-3. That was wild. But if we're being honest here, I know that, you know, granted, maybe her mic skills aren't the best, but she's one hell of a performer. And I'm honestly, in my opinion, completely over Charlotte Flair. And it sucks for Tiffy because I really do like Tiffy. But this is going to be one of my least looked at matches. I'm not ready for it. I could care less for it at this point. I just think there's so many other directions they could have gone in, and you know, it's unfortunate that they didn't. But moving on. Oh, speaking of Flair, this is my hot take. Ric Flair is not the greatest wrestler of all time. Hell, he's not even the greatest character of all time. In my opinion, he's one of the most overhyped wrestlers of all time, just like Hulk Hogan. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, which is fine. And granted, maybe it's because I'm younger and in my generation, you know, the greats were The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Randy, Triple H, you know. But Flair being the greatest of all time, is simply not true in the slightest. You could probably put you probably couldn't even put him in the top 10 of all time for character or wrestling. The character might be a stretch because I don't know if you can name 10 better characters, but the best wrestler of all time, you can name 10 people better than Ric Flair. Again, my opinion. You know, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me like that. I definitely think he's probably top 3, top 5 character-wise. You know, the way he could cut a promo. Woo! Silent wilding, wheeling, dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, you know. He was able to talk, and he had great mic skills, so I'll give him that. I think character-wise, he's probably top 3, top 5 of all time, because even Hogan's a great character. He's just not a great wrestler. You know, they both transformed wrestling, and even now in their later years in life, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to know Ric Flair. You don't have, you know, like the Ric Flair drip song, you know, he does all these other things. Hulk Hogan, same thing. But that's my opinion. Well, this ain't a WrestleMania 41 hot take, but this is going back to Ric Flair. This is a wrestling hot take. Speaking of character, nobody can change my mind that The Undertaker is not only the greatest character / gimmick of all time. Arguably, he could be put in the Hall of Fame twice. The American Badass and then the regular Undertaker character. And then you even have the Brothers of Destruction. His ability to adapt and change over time is unremarkable. Obviously, the case can be made for. Obviously, I believe, and the case can be made that Shawn Michaels is the greatest wrestler of all time. But if you're talking character, the dead man's gong, the eye roll, the dramatic long entrances, very few other people that have something that is noteworthy, that is timeless, that you can do outside of wrestling, and people will be like, "Oh my God, that's the Undertaker's thing. That's whatever." You know, the You Can't See Me, the Hogan Flex, which he stole from somebody. I found out recently. The DX Suck It. You know, the Ric Flair. Woo. You know, there's very limited things that you can do outside of wrestling that people relate to wrestling, but arguably, well, nobody can change my mind because Undertaker's the best gimmick of all time, and Shawn Michaels is the greatest wrestler of all time. Excuse me. Back to WrestleMania 41 hot takes. Bianca Belair needs to turn heel and win the championship. It turns her heel. She wins the championship, and she can finally come out as the person who helped Naomi attack Jade Cargill. Because I believe that that's exactly what happened. They haven't released security footage yet. There's cameras all throughout the building. I believe that Naomi and Bianca beat up Jade. I believe that is I believe that's what happened. Another hot take. Jacob Fatu needs to beat LA Knight. Fatu. I don't know if this is a hot take more than just speaking fact. LA Knight has been an awful champion after winning and at the first press conference did the worst thing I've ever seen a babyface do, being so cocky and arrogant and acting as if he isn't. All right, maybe I was writing this in my feelings, sending shots. Cocky and arrogant, acting as if he's not a babyface. Like, you're a babyface, and I don't know if anyone remembers what I'm talking about, but there was a post conference, a press conference, whatever. After he won the title, I believe that was SummerSlam, Logan Paul. I don't know. And he came out and, babyface, I'm really happy. I'm grateful. Came out cocky, arrogant. And, I deserve this. I meant to be here, blah, blah, blah. And I think, honestly, they gave him a reality check, taking it off of him so quickly and abruptly, and the way they did. But there's a lot of things that go there. But Jacob Fatu, on the other hand, is an absolute stud. And I can genuinely see the company getting behind him over the next couple years and really pushing him. Not only his in-ring ability, boy can speak. Boy can talk on a mic. I don't think anything that he has ever said has been scripted. I think they were like, hey, this is kind of the direction I need you to say something to this sort. But I think he's genuinely been like, okay, I need to say ABC, and I'm just going to cook the rest of the time. So I think Jacob Fatu is a fantastic performer. I think he's fantastic on the mic. Jacob Fatu needs to win the United States Championship. Sorry, I'm honestly reading these at this point. I don't even remember half the stuff I said. Solo Sikoa needs to retire or to figure out a different look / gimmick. I feel like the same old is not working, and he's trying to imitate Umaga. I really don't like how he's intimidating. Oh my gosh. Mimicking Umaga. And I get it, they're all family, and I believe that was his uncle. I don't know. I really don't know. We should do a whole bloodline video. I really don't know. I'd learn so much as far as the bloodline video goes. Who's related, who's not. Which is great because Umaga had such an impact on all of wrestling, but he's not Umaga and he never will be Umaga. The only current direction I can see them going with his character is Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. I hope that Solo comes in after Fatu wins, and turns heel on him or does something crazy and smacks the championship out of his hand, low blows him. Maybe even celebrates with him, like, hey, I'm so proud of you. and gives him the spike across the chest. I think that would be cool. But if Solo gets in front of this match and they keep the belt on LA Knight, waste of time, waste of character. And Jacob Fatu, they need to just put the rocket strap on his back, give him the U.S. title, and let him go from there. This one's going to rub people the wrong way, so I already know where we're going with this. Logan Paul is a way better performer / wrestler than people will ever give him credit for. I'm so tired of any platform that talks about wrestling, starts talking about Logan Paul, and the first word or phrase that comes out of their mouth is celebrity or influencer wrestler. He's not an influencer wrestler. He's a wrestler. He brings eyeballs to the sport. He's been a positive force for the sport. He's a great character, and nobody gives him the credit that he deserves. I think he's going to beat AJ Styles. He's a phenomenal athlete. AJ honestly has nothing to lose and nothing to gain at the same time. I think Logan gains more from a win than AJ gains from a win. I think this is very possible because AJ has lost a bunch of times in WrestleMania before. I don't think Logan Paul has lost to WrestleMania. Oh yeah, I think he did his first year. No, they could, if they would have just let him beat Seth Rollins at Mania, he'd be going in here with a 3-0 record at Mania. That'd be crazy. But anyway, I just think that I'm so over people saying that Logan Paul is a part-timer, is a this, is a that, is a celebrity wrestler. It's just not true. He's bringing a positive aspect to the sport. He's bringing more eyeballs, and as a fan, that's one thing I can respect. And he's dedicating himself. It's not like he's coming in like a slob. He's not coming in and not doing what he's got to do. He's a fantastic performer. He's great on the mic. Obviously, I think he's a natural-born heel. So all these things definitely help to the character that is Logan Paul. I think it's great for business, and I'm definitely excited to see what his future holds. He's going to have an absolutely amazing career, but I'm sick and tired of people saying that he's just a celebrity or influence wrestler when he's been doing it for almost 4 years now. This will be his 4th WrestleMania, just to put that in perspective. Next hot take, Chad Gable cannot be under the El Grande Americano mask. When he does get unmasked, When he does get unmasked by Rey Mysterio at 41, they need to really play into the story, and I hope that they can find someone who is genuinely a wrestler for Rey's sake, but also who looks exactly identical to Chad Gable, so that way they can somehow, in the middle of the match, make a switch and then have Chad come in. And I don't know how this would work, but they need to make it happen for the sake of the character and let this gimmick live on for as long as humanly possible. I love El Grande Americano. I think it's the coolest thing ever. I think, and this is my next, this is one of my next takes, so I'm just going to roll into it. On the same note, Chad Gable might be arguably one of the most underrated wrestlers in all of WWE history. His ability to change character looks and changes and go 100% with whatever he's asked to do is unbelievable and truly the mark of a legend. I also think after the games and the fun and games, maybe in 6 months to a year, he needs a heavy title push, similar to that of Kurt Angle, and let him get all the heat. I'm really not mad at that hot take. I think that's not even a hot take. I think it's just fact. I think Chad Gable has done everything that the company has ever asked him to do. He's never said no to anything. He's portrayed, I believe, 6. If he is truly El Grande Americano, like people are accusing him of being, that would be his 6th or 7th gimmick since he's been in WWE. So he's asked everything that, the WWE has asked him to. So, pause for dramatic effect. I am recording this pretty late. But he's done everything that the WWE has asked him to do, and I think he is due for a heavy, heavy push. So I would love to see Chad Gable do that. On the other hand, I hate that Chad Gable's missing a WrestleMania and that El Grande Americano is getting one in the limited time that he's been in the WWE. This one is super long, so bear with me. Dominic Mysterio is the best person to put the Intercontinental title on. Dominic Mysterio is cooking right now, genuinely cooking with gas. His character, his wrestling, his skill, everything about Dom has turned from amateur to professional in the past couple of years, and he's really coming into his own. Giving him the Intercontinental Championship without Braun or Penta eating a pin could be a massive for all the people involved in the match. You could literally break it off. Braun wants to rematch. Penta put up the best the best performance and is deserving of a shot. And obviously Finn and Dom having the rivalry that they have, you can go about it in so many ways. If Braun Breaker wins, he's Braun Breaker. If he loses, he can go on a world title run. If Penta wins, it's great. People are gonna love it. But he can also go for a world title run. Finn, the same thing. If you're gonna drop the title in any way, why not give it to Dom and see what can happen, and honestly make a story out of it. Sorry, that was a really long-winded one because I genuinely think that Dominic Mysterio should win the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. The two things that need to happen is Braun Breaker can't eat a pin and Penta can't eat a pin, especially if it's Dom. And they just need to have the story of him and Finn in the Intercontinental Championship battle. That could be awesome for Backlash. I think it could help put over Mysterio. And it would not only for his character development, but for the Judgment Day's character development. For Finn's character development. And then right after, just put Finn in the world title picture. Same thing with Penta, who's on an unbelievable tear. And honestly, for the sake of popularity, he might get it. But Braun Breaker especially, I think Braun Breaker, it could be a world champion one day if he stays on this trajectory. I don't know if you've seen these missile-seeking spears, but it's unbelievable. So I think Dominic Mysterio is the right person to drop the Intercontinental Championship to at the show of shows, WrestleMania. Last two hot takes here, and then I'll give a little spiel at the end. Thank you guys so much. If you're still watching this, I really do want to hear from you guys on your hot takes. So drop them in the comments below. We're going to be doing a lot of wrestling content, so stay tuned for that. We also got a bunch of other content we're going to be doing, so stay in store for that as well. Next hot take is the New Day need to win the tag titles, or Big E needs to return in a big way and get physical. This story goes nowhere if Big E does not return and either A, costs them the match, or B, gets physical. I get it. You know, there's some uncertainty when it comes to his neck and it comes to him if he's physically cleared or not. But the story makes no sense to be a WrestleMania match if that's not the case. So if I'm a betting man, the only way the New Day win, or the only way that this becomes something like that, is if Big E gets involved, and how maybe Big E turns heel with them if he is cleared. That would be incredible. And he kind of gets to earn his trust back. Or maybe my position on this is that Big E is going to return and cost them the title. Big E returning would get an insane pop. I couldn't even tell you what his theme music is. Like, to be honest with you, I have no idea. But a Big E return would get a massive pop. The crowd would absolutely lose their mind. And for his sake, I think even him just coming back and costing them the titles at WrestleMania, even if he can't get physical and it's just the story, would also get a huge pop. And then I think for New Day, it's really just going to be a huge push for them to get the titles. You know, I think that could do numbers for their career as well. Last and final WrestleMania 41 hot takes. If you have been here this long, thank you so much. Please just hit that subscribe button. At this point, if you're watching in 30 minutes, I really do appreciate you. Randy Orton and Nick Aldis would be the most underrated match for WrestleMania. It could be an absolute, as JR would say, slobber knocker. Solo Sikoa and Randy would be mid and fine, but at the same time, Nick Aldis is in incredible shape and could go from GM to talent. Just seems that there could be a great story here. I genuinely believe that Nick Aldis is in wrestling shape right now. He looks incredible. Every week he gets a little bit bigger. He's a little bit more swole, if you would say. Randy and Nick Aldis would be a fantastic freaking match. I would love to see it. I would love to see what happens. I think both men, as absolute studs in the industry, would crush it. Having Randy Orton not on WrestleMania 41 would be a disservice, especially not knowing how much longer he can actually go. Maybe 2-3 more years tops if he can stay healthy, but not having Randy Orton in WrestleMania would be a very much big disservice to him and to his career. Now, obviously, they have him as the main poster for Backlash, which is great and awesome for him, but it's not what we want to see. None of us want to see that. We all want to see Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41. With that being said, this was another Lifting Love video. This was our WrestleMania 41 hot takes. We got a couple other hot takes in there as well. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button on the bottom, as we're going to be posting a lot more wrestling content. We just post a lot of content in general. Weekly podcast, 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday mornings. Make sure you tune in for that. We talk to all different types of people, because only one thing is true in this world, is we all have a story, and the Lifting Love podcast is here to showcase that story. A bunch of wrestling content. We do reaction videos. I'm working on streaming. I want to stream all PLEs. I want to do Raw reviews, SmackDown recaps, and honestly just have a weekly wrestling podcast as well, where I'm looking on actually bringing a co-host. So working on a lot of things as far as wrestling, so I hope I get to see you soon. If not, thank you for watching this version of Lifting Love WrestleMania 41 Hot Takes Edition. But until next time, there's only one thing you could do. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that button. But most importantly, lift love, crush hate, and just like that, we out.